Made in Hollywood.
Season 2 of the drama series Tell Me Lies, starring Grace Van Patten and Jackson White, is made in Hollywood.
We don't know right off the bat the whole arc, but we definitely get a lot of information and then a detailed description of where we're going.
Made in Hollywood.
Also on today's show, Liev Schreiber contemplates his mortality in the romantic war drama Across the River and Into the Trees.
To be honest with you, that's not what I thought when I read Hemingway in high school, and it's certainly not what I thought when I read Across the River. I get that grammatically, I get that in terms of styles of writing, but I think he's a romantic.
Plus, Peter Dinklage and Juliette Lewis star in the unforgiving western The Thicket. Aaron Pierre and Don Johnson face off in the crime thriller Rebel Ridge, and the action drama The Lockdown features Katie Lotz. This week on Made in Hollywood.
Made in Hollywood.
Now available on your home screen. After a dramatic breakup, a couple discovers that breaking free from each other will be harder than it looks in Season 2 of Tell Me Lies, starring Grace Van Patten and Jackson White.
Are you nervous about going back?
No.
Well, if that little gremlin even looks in your direction, call me. Same goes for his girlfriend.
I'm not even worried about him. I was in some sort of delusional state last year.
It was really interesting to see how it opens up on Lucy and how she's really convinced herself that she's okay and that she's ready to move on. She realizes she's not okay, and she kind of falls right back in the trap.
Lucy is this attachment that he can't seem to shake, and he has this weird primal need to stay tethered and mess her up.
Yeah, I just want to focus on school this semester, and I want to talk to guys.
Cool. Cool.
Then at the beginning of this season, it's like, oh, Steven and Diana are in a great place and everything's going really well for them. And, end of the show, right? No. And then obviously things happen, derail that.
Diana represents the future, has a lot of tools for him to do really well and a lot of connections. And I think he sees that. I think he's got some love there, but it's also pretty self-serving.
Are you sure you can trust Steven?
He's my best friend.
We don't know right off the bat the whole arc, but we definitely get a lot of information and then a detailed description of where we're going. But how many scripts do we get right off the bat, Jackson?
Probably 3, but then we had
3.
We had like a rundown with Megan.
Yeah, Megan met up with us and kind of very detailed explanation of what the arcs were and what was going to happen.
We do get the scripts in batches. You get the first 4 and you're like, what's going to happen?
Just page turners. You just want to, know what is happening.
Yeah, I'm always so excited to see where it's going to go.
I don't think you hate me at all.
I promise you I do.
Her obsession or infatuation with Steven completely takes over her brain and body, and she does a lot of things kind of on impulse, exactly, and not thinking of how it will affect herself and also the people around her.
Based on Ernest Hemingway's final novel, Liev Schreiber stars as a World War II hero facing his mortality in the romantic war drama Across the River and Into the Trees.
My dream. Driving on solid ground. For miles and miles and miles in one direction. Not round in circles on water.
To infinite possibilities.
I had only read the basic high school Hemingway, which was, I had read A Farewell to Arms and I'd read For Whom the Bell Tolls. I really didn't have much experience with him.
You looking for something special, Colonel? In Venice, I mean?
When Paul initially reached out to me about the film, she gave me a novel by a guy named Andre de Robilant called Autumn in Venice, which is a wonderful telling of Hemingway's time in Venice, which is a place that, as many people know, he really, really loved. And in particular, his relationship to a young countess. It's a wonderful portrait of him and her, of midlife crisis, of existentialism, of romance.
Signorina! Mi scusi!
You are the famous Colonnello Cantwell.
There's a lot of films about older men and younger women, obviously, but one of the things that I appreciated about Hemingway was his self-consciousness about it and his self-loathing, or self-consciousness that verges on self-loathing. And I think that is a very refreshing and interesting take.
He spent his last days thinking about the one chance Dad slipped away.
He was impossibly spellbound by Adriana, the real woman, and at the same time hated himself for it and was very frustrated, and then did absolutely nothing to hide it.
Man can't live forever.
Everyone always talks about the simplicity of Hemingway, the masculinity of the writing, the spareness of it. But to be honest with you, that's not what I thought when I read Hemingway in high school, and it's certainly not what I thought when I read Across the River. I get that grammatically, I get that in terms of styles of writing, but I think he's a romantic.
Why not?
Coming up, Peter Dinklage and Juliette Lewis find themselves on opposite sides of a bounty in the thrilling Western, The Thicket. To find out where to watch any movie, check out MoviePhone.com. Find it, watch it.
I gotta say, the scene with Peter in the centerpiece in the movie there is a highlight of my career. Next to De Niro and Cape Fear, this scene with him, it was really special.
Made in Hollywood. Made in Hollywood.
A bounty hunter embarks on a quest to find a ruthless killer in a deadly no man's land as Peter Dinklage and Juliette Lewis star in the thrilling Western, The Thicket.
I know who you are.
Who you are?
Cutthroat Bill.
Bang.
Selfishly, I am an actor, and that Reginald Jones just sort of, when I read the book, I had to put his boots on.
The ingredients that I was given was so helpful, and it just pops off your imagination in a very special way.
I've never done anything like this. I never thought I'd get the opportunity to do anything like this with such an incredible ensemble.
I read it in a night, and it just moves, and I thought, like, if the film actually moves the way this script does, it's going to be a ride, and that I wanted to be a part of.
My first reaction was, this is good, this could be great, let's completely unpack it and make the villain a woman.
There's a bounty on her, $10,000.
You work for me, 3 ways on the bounty. I say what, I say when.
I admire Peter so much, and what was really fun about that dynamic is that he needs him, and they kind of really need each other by the end. And as getting on and off camera, I just learned so much from Peter, and he was really showing me the ropes as an actor, as his character was showing me the ropes in the film.
Where's she taking me?
The Thicket.
What I wanted to do was I wanted to take elements of young Hollywood and fuse them with elements of sort of the sort of iconic actors and throw them all together in this sort of like wonderful sort of Thicket suit.
What I liked about working with Elliot, and I found consistent throughout, was that, you know, he'd come in with, like, you know, some good notes to try something differently. So you got to play, and he was open to us playing. To me, that's an element to working with the director.
Are you gonna kill me when we get there?
You're lucky I saved you.
The challenge was shooting in minus 35 degrees. That was nothing that we were prepared for.
There's something about putting rocks in your shoes and being out in the cold, the discomfort a character would have in this environment, and it really does most of the acting for you when you're actually freezing.
It's physically demanding, especially when you're shooting in the cold, but we were all in it together and made it happen, and that also made it all the more fun.
You know, I'm so scared. How come nobody put a gun to my head?
she's called Cutthroat Bill and that people mistake her for a man and that she's so savage. So when someone tells a story like that, I really want to bring it.
I was constantly caught off guard by how every time she would deliver a line or she would improvise or change something, she just made it better and richer.
You're the littlest man I ever seen.
You're the ugliest.
I gotta say, the scene with Peter in the centerpiece in the movie there is a highlight of my career. Next to De Niro and Cape Fear, this scene with him it was really special.
To find out where to watch any movie, check out MoviePhone.com. Find it, watch it. Up next, the action drama Rebel Ridge features Don Johnson, and Katie Lotz stars in the no-holds-barred thriller, The Lockdown.
It was a very clever way of using something where you think you know, and then all of a sudden something starts, oh, and you don't know.
Made in Hollywood. Made in Hollywood.
Now available on your home screen. An ex-Marine finds himself in a violent standoff against a small town's dirty police force as Aaron Pierre and Don Johnson star in the action drama Rebel Ridge.
I need to report a crime.
And this was cash?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can you describe the suspect?
Big guy, must weigh 250.
We're gonna hold on to this money.
I didn't get his badge number, but his last name's Marston. I remember getting a call from my team, and they were really hyped, and they were really energized, and they more or less said, we're about to send you a script imminently. Read it when you can. I received the script. I saw that it was written and directed by Jeremy Saulnier. I read it within 90 minutes. I called them back. I was like, how do we make this happen?
I remember reading it and being like, I have to be a part of this story. It has everything that I want to do in it.
You can fight for the money, but that'll take you most of a year and cost you twice what you're owed.
And it's legal?
It's a law.
It was a very clever way of using something where you think you know, and then all of a sudden something starts, oh, and you don't know, and now you're wrapped up in it, and now you're rolling, and you're into this world where you go, wow, this is in America?
You do not stand in my station in front of my officers and set terms. You need to be very, very careful.
Let's not do that.
First, I had a conversation with Jeremy, who's just the best. I mean, he knows this story like the back of his hand, and he has such a strong vision.
If you don't want a director who's going to just yes you to death, you want somebody to say, I don't know that I see it that way. Let's talk about that. And we did.
You enter this town again, so go another route.
I loved working with Aaron because he's a wonderful actor. We have similar sensibilities about how we approach our work, and it was very easy for Jeremy and Aaron and I to find a tone that we wanted.
It was a tremendous privilege to be in his space and to have the opportunity to really be present with him in the context of a collaborator.
Suspect is armed. He goes down. He does not get back up.
When we see a system that is unjust, do we turn away and have a blind eye and just keep on with our lives, or do we choose to look at it straight on and do something about it and take action?
So I was thinking, what if we just walk away?
Well, now you're starting to talk.
I was like, nah.
Now available on demand. Two siblings are forced to fight their way out of a Myanmar prison as Katie Lotz and Leo Howard star in the action-packed thriller, The Lockdown.
We go live in 10.
Welcome to that row. The only way to live a life is as a champion.
I want to make you an offer. If you can deliver fighters, I'll grant your release.
Foreigners trained to fight.
My first reaction was like,
Do I want to do a martial arts film that shoots in Thailand? Hell yes, I do. And then after reading it, I was like, this is awesome.
The whole kind of idea is the gym that their father owned and ran for many years. In order to transfer it to their name, they have to go get this deed signed by their father, who's locked up in Myanmar.
Place your back on the table.
Yama! Hands up over your head! Hey, hey, hey! Met! You being met!
Hang on a second.
I have martial arts experience, but not a lot in specifically Muay Thai. So before going to Thailand, I really deep dove into trying to just get ready to be able to keep up in doing Muay Thai in Thailand. And then when we got there at least 3 weeks early and basically had like boot camp. We're learning all the fights and training and getting ready. Like everything you see is practical, no wires. It's all us, no doubles ever. And also I was like, wait, but like, you're gonna have like somebody like just in case, right? They're like, no, you don't need it. And it's like, oh yeah, sure, okay.
You are being held with intent to distribute illegal drugs.
You're in a death factory. Unless you figure out how to survive, you won't.
Doing the ring fights was also something I've never done. I've done a lot of fight scenes, but doing a fight scene in a ring is totally different.
There's different dynamics to it. It's like, it's a little harder to hide things. You know, you're in a wide open ring, and so the choreography changes, the style of fighting changes.
And the stunt people in Thailand are hardcore. They're super talented and super tough. So there's a lot of like, just hit me, just do it. Like, I'm like, okay, but don't really hit me, like, not too hard. My shins are made of glass.
Who's getting excited?
You got this. Hi.
Hello and welcome to Movie Phone.
Movie Phone? So exciting.
Can I get hired? I want to be movie phone guy.
Welcome to Movie Phone.
If you have any medical issues, just call Movie Phone.
Thanks for joining us for Movie Phone, unscripted, where we answer your questions.
Who is the most fun person to fake punch? Like, generally in life, like,
I would assume in the movies.
Movie Phone TV is your ticket to all that's new at the movies.
Stay tuned, there's more coming up on Made in Hollywood.
Made in Hollywood.
Thanks for watching Made in Hollywood, powered by Movie Phone. For more behind-the-screen content, check out MoviePhone.com.
Made in Hollywood.